Hey everyone, it is Wednesday. It's Woe is Me Wednesday, and we are talking about something that isn't working or that comes up quite a lot in my coaching conversations with the misfit creatives and wannabe mavens. So, this week we're talking about how you can support creativity with structure. And I realised that it's just time, and we did send out an email for everyone, so I'm going to see whether anyone else rolls in and joins and has any questions to ask or anything like that. But that's what we're talking about. Creativity and structure, which can often feel like they are at odds with one another. I often hear from people that structure is something that stifles their creativity, that they spent so long in corporate or in a job or in a situation or a place where they felt like they were being put in a box, that now they don't want to be in a box and they want to just flow with it and they want to be able to indulge their creativity, and as a result aren't getting anything done. Hey, if you just joined me. So I want to challenge that, because actually the more structure that we have, the more containers that we can create. And for some people that's going to be like one big one, and for other people it's going to be smaller ones, and I'll come back to that. The more creativity we can actually experience, enjoy and indulge in. So I am all about structure that supports. And I want to explain what I mean by that, because it can sound a bit wishy-washy, and maybe it's very different for you and you're thinking, yeah, but that's not going to work in my business. I haven't even started, but it's not going to work in my business or in my life. So let me dive in and see where we go with this. So let's first of all talk about relationships. You want to have a creative and intimate, organic, free-flowing relationship where both of you are able to really experience intimacy. So you don't want like structure in that, because that takes away the impulse and the romance or the romanticism of it. Okay? But if you do that, the likelihood is that as your lives get busy, nothing will happen. It just won't happen at all. And so if there was some structure around how to talk to each other, or like when date night's going to be, or any of this stuff, there can still be creativity and impulsiveness and romance in there. It's just that you both know that it's going to happen. So then let's take this to a work scenario. Let's say you don't really know how the work that you do with someone is going to unfold. So you don't know how you want to build them to start with, and you've spent a lot of your time, you're not hugely experienced at this, and so you don't know like the averages of what things are going to take. So you're like, well, I'll just start working with them and then we'll explore it and then I'll charge them afterwards. And the thing is about that is that the person who you're working with doesn't feel supported, because they don't know where the boundaries are and they don't know what they're getting or where they can push to, or they just don't feel safe enough to fully explore and let go and enjoy the process with you. And actually you don't feel completely supported and looked after in this arrangement, because you haven't been paid yet and you don't know whether someone is going to actually pay you at the end of it. So setting in place some review times, a payment system or a structure of like how work's going to go and what the rules are around that, actually creates a structure that supports you in having creativity. So that's two examples. So I've got a work example and a relationship example of where actually having some kind of a structure enables you to be freer in the moment and with that other person and enjoy the relationship and enjoy the flow of it, rather than the illusion that having a free form platform is actually going to provide creativity for you. There's another example, and that is your own creativity in terms of writing, in terms of painting, in terms of creating whatever it is that you do in whatever form that is. it's very romantic to think that you'll just go into it and that you're in the chaos, there will be this creative buzz that comes forth and then you'll be able to channel it. And all of that may be true, but you've also got other commitments and things that need to be taken care of. There are bills that need paying, there are other humans who need your interaction or intention or attention. And so carving out specific time to be creative, whilst that may not sound romantic and fun and creative and juicy and, you know, all of that other stuff, actually means that there is a parameter in which you are safe, where people can't interrupt you. And then the attitude that you go into that is quite important, because if you go into that thinking, I'm now must produce, you're going to be stuck, and I'm here with pen and paper, or sometimes I'm kind of at my keyboard and I'm like, fuck, I have to produce something now. And that's really hard. But if I know that with consistency, there is a structure to support me in being creative every single week or once a month or whenever, but that this time is blocked out, that is structure that is supporting my creativity. Having a contract with my clients enables us to really be intimate and get into the nitty gritty of what it is that they're here to do and that I'm here to do with them in our actual sessions, rather than spending some of the sessions working out the expectation. That's what we have contracts for at the beginning. And at any time, you are able to kind of go, this says this and I don't understand it. But if you haven't put that line in place from the beginning, then it's a bit like introducing yourself to someone, getting to know them, and then realizing you haven't asked their name, and then feeling too anxious to ask because you probably should know this by now. And then it gets really uncomfortable and you don't know what you need to do, and you try and invent situations in which they're going to tell you their name. So dealing with the structure part straight up, hey Lou, dealing with that structure part straight up is so, so important, because then it enables you to get on with the business and the engagement and the intimacy and the creativity and the juiciness that you actually want to be there for. And in our relationships, we're met with, and our relationships with objects, with people, with work, with whatever, like we are made up of matter, vibration, frequency, and light. And that means that when we meet something else, we meet it with equal and opposing force. So however much we are putting into something, we are getting that back. And often with heart-led, creative, kind individuals, we are all about giving a lot. But the problem is that we are not being met with equal and opposing force, because we're giving too much or we're pushing too hard, and then the other side can't come and meet us. And so if we set up a structure and we go, this is how it is, this is what 50% of the line is, this is how it needs to work, this is what I'm going to be putting in, and these are my expectations of you, then the other person can be, or the other, we had that agreement with a wall. It may not look like it, but we have the agreement with a wall that when we lean in, it will rise up to meet us so that we don't fall through the wall. And the same thing happens in all of our other relationships. Consciously or unconsciously, we're saying, hey, if I lean against you this much, you can lean against me back. But we have to be like, the more intentional, the more specific we can be around that, the more we can receive that back. And so that translates in our scheduling, it translates in our contract, it translates in our billing arrangements, how we invoice. And then the other parts of that, of your systems and stuff, is how easy you make it for people to do it. Like, is it just one click, or have they got to go and look up information? Or, all of those kind of things. And if we stop looking at it as being pushy and start looking at it as allowing those people who want to interact with us to do so in a way that is easy for them, then they can do that and we can do that, and we can get on with the business of what it is that we actually want to be doing. And ultimately, you don't need to be making the decision for the other person. All of the time you're like, oh, my price is too high. Will anyone pay? Should I say anything? Will they walk away? You're doing too much of the work. You are allowing yourself to make decisions for the other person. You are a sovereign being, and so are they. So if you offer cleanly what it is that you have, then they can come in and they can go yes or no. And so around actual creativity in terms of the content of making things, having a structure means like I need to be alone in this, or I need to go out and have a walk, or I need to give myself a little staycation where actually I dedicate 2 days to writing a book and I'm going to go and stay somewhere else, or maybe I'll do a house swap with someone, or maybe I'll look after someone's kids for a couple of hours and then they can look after mine, or whatever it is. But those are the structures that I'm talking about that can support us rather than stifle us in being creative. If you have any questions on this around structure, around creativity, around how to be, or like the concerns that you have around being creative or losing that creativity if you put structures in place, I'd love to hear them, because I hear this a lot, and I would love to hear a little bit more about what it is that's difficult for you, or how you would like to be supported in this way. And then if you tag me on this, I can answer you and let you know. Thanks, Lou. And I can come and answer those questions. So I hope this was useful and helpful in some way. And as usual, if you have something that you'd like me to talk on, or talk about, or give you some hints or tips on, or whatever of that, again, leave it in the comments and we will organise that. Otherwise, next week we are talking about acknowledgement. And status, and being seen, and how you want that. And probably talk about a bit more about money as well. Right, I have clients. I'm going to go. Thank you, Lou. Bye.